So today I want to focus on the Akashic Records. We already did a mini meditation to go through the Akashic film, and that was just like an introduction. So today I'm going to focus more on what is the Akashic film, how can we access the records, what type of information we can go through and look at during the time that we spend in the records. Is there any healing that we can do in the records? Can we predict the future with the records? So I'm going to start with making sure that you understand that not only can we access past lives, we can access the past lives in the records, but there is so much more than that. We can go through many past lives all at the same time, almost like seeing 5-6 different movies all at the same time, understanding the concept of all those 5 movies at the same time. We also can heal in the records, and we can find greater purpose when we tap into the records. We can transcend the human experience and really tap into a consciousness that we haven't had access to before. The more time you spend in the records, the easier it becomes for you to tap into the records throughout the day, every day, very effortlessly. And this is very powerful. It becomes almost like you have your personal coach that is always with you and that you can tap into at any time. That's why for healers, it's very important for us to tap into the Akashic field, because every time that we have a doubt, we cannot run to somebody else. We have to be able to build our confidence, and a lot of that confidence is going to come from us being able to communicate to our higher self, to the guides that we have, by tapping into the field and almost meeting them halfway. I like to think about it like almost like if I'm going through the field to meet them halfway, because sometimes we can even go further than the records, but we can do that only when we feel that we are very connected and we can grab the information from the records, and then it becomes really easy for us to go to other dimensions from, but almost like the records become a gateway. So once it becomes a gateway, we can go to different dimensions, other planets and places in realms that we can grab information that normally we wouldn't have access to. But I think the records is almost like the grounding foundation, if I can say that. Almost like, not the basic, because it's so powerful. So much can be done in the records. But it's almost like in order for you to even go to higher planes and dimensions, you have to be able to really be good at going through the Akashic field. So one of the key things here is that when you go through the records, you will notice that it's a shift in the energy, in the vibration that you hold. You will notice that you feel lighter, that you feel like you can go anywhere. And the more time you spend here, the more powerful you become at being in the moment. Because when you're in the moment, it's only when you can really transcend and go to the records. Because if you're worried about the past or the future, and you know here presently, it's very hard for those people to go to the Akashic field. In order for you to go through the Akashic field, you either are a master because you have that gift from childbirth, or you train yourself to go to the Akashic field by being in the present moment. So the moment, the very present moment, becomes the most important one. When you stand in the present moment is when you can see the illusions and you can see everything in between. And it becomes very easy for you to grab information because you're open. When you're in the moment, you're an open vessel. Information can come through. But if you're always worried, your mind is preoccupied. So you block the information that is coming through. I hope that makes sense. When your mind is always preoccupied with something, you cannot access any information. It's very hard to access information from higher dimensions because the vibration is not meeting each other. It's almost like your vibration has to match the vibration of the sender, and the sender, whether it's source or spirit guides, come from a very high vibration. And if you're worried, preoccupied, and you get a lot of information, then you really have to wonder, where did that information come from? Because the vibration that you have has to match your spirit guides, angel, cosmic family, light beings. Otherwise, you're not really tapping into them. They have to work harder. And if they have to work harder and you're not open to it because you're preoccupied, you might miss everything that they give you. So if you're hearing a lot when you're preoccupied, pay attention. Who's the one talking? Where's that information coming from? That's when you really have to work on discerning energies. So this is very important for you to understand. There is a vibration. The vibration that you put out has to match the vibration of the sender. So the information can be received, so you can become the open vessel, so you could hear, so you can feel. You cannot feel, hear, smell, see if you're preoccupied about the past or the future. I hope that makes sense. But one of the most important things is that not only you have to see the illusion of the past and the future, because it's all an illusion, but we have to transcend it. And to transcend it, we have to take responsibility. And to take responsibility, we have to analyze ourselves. We have to understand what triggers us, what makes us happy, what makes us sad. We have to become, almost like we have to become the masters, the gurus of ourselves. We are our gurus. We are the dark gods. We are the light gods. We are the masters. We have to transcend the lower vibrational energies. And to do that, we really have to study ourselves with compassion. When you give compassion to yourself for being angry, for being jealous, for being disturbed by others, for being judgmental, for whatever it may be, you change the way you see yourself and you wonder, how, with compassion, I change myself? How do I take responsibility for how somebody else makes me feel? And when we start doing that is when the major healing really happens. When you take responsibility, you know you're the one in control. Everything comes back to you. The other people are there just to give you lessons, to open your eyes, whether they do good or bad things. Everything is done for the same purpose, to open our eyes, to show us what are your positives and negative aspects, and how to bring those negative aspects to the light. That's why we talked about shadow self before. So, and I couldn't, seriously, this is crazy that how everything is coming together, because when I heard shadow and I had to deal with the shadow and I had to put the lecture on the shadow, I didn't know we were coming up to talk about Akashic Records. And it's crazy how everything is flowing together, because I couldn't make that happen. That this is just like another aha moment for me right now at this very moment. I couldn't have make it up. Every time I think I'm going to do a lesson on something, sometimes I hear a clear no. And then I hear next. What's next? What's coming up next? And when I heard shadow on Friday, I think it was crazy, because I didn't know that 3 days later, I was going to be having a big aha moment, and that I was going to really understand things from a different perspective. And I was shown last night, and I have to now look for the right information and maybe I have to read, because they show me a specific book on pranic healing that I think it's a book where there is some information that is going to confirm something that I heard last night. And I have to find this book. I'm going to have to find it. But it was about how everybody comes here with 5 shadows. And this is not in the lecture of the shadows because, like I said, I didn't have everything. I just had the first part. Last night, I received more information that we have. We all come with a programming of 5 shadows. 5 is very important. It's the number between 1 and 9. And it's, to me, it's important because it's the 5-pointed star. It represents, to me, bringing information from above. And when I heard 5, now I have to go on the hunt to understand more about why 5 shadows. What is the importance of having 5 shadows? Once I find out, I'll let you know. And if you have information on this, please share away, because it's important for me to let you know. I don't have all the answers. I'm just being used to give the information that I channel, so those that can vibrate at the same energy that I vibrate can receive the information that I bring forward through my consciousness from the intergalactic healers. But I don't know all of this stuff. I am just the vehicle. So I do too have to study what is being channeled, because some of these things could be very obvious to some people, but to me they're not. So I have to go and study what I'm channeling to confirm, because I like to confirm. Some things I don't need to confirm because I know them to be true 100%. Something in me says 100%. But when I hear something so specific like 5 shadows, I want to know why 5. What is the meaning of those 5 shadows? Do they represent different characteristics of who we are? And how do we know which these 5 imprints are? Are they besides or within the supporting qualities that they share with us in the first lesson of the letters of the name and the last name? So, and the full name. So are these the same or different? So I have to get more information on that. But I think one of the most, why they're bringing me to responsibilities, because what we don't take responsibility of represents a shadow quality. If we don't take responsibility because somebody's making us angry, represents a shadow aspect. Whether you have to nurture or dismiss that shadow is going to be based on what you analyze from yourself, what you understand to be true of yourself. What do you understand to be true of the path that you have to walk here now? So whether it is dismissed or the shadow is nurtured, it's going to depend on your ability to analyze your life and take responsibility for your life. So no longer you can blame others for anything that happens to you, even your happiness, because your happiness is not the responsibility of somebody else. Just like you being at peace with yourself is not the responsibility of somebody else. You loving yourself and feeling safe and feeling loved and feeling wanted is not the responsibility of anybody else. So this is very important for us to understand, because the big thing here is that it is very hard for us to tap into higher planes, higher dimensions, when we're vibrating very low. That's why a lot of work has been done for us to understand the shadow, the supporting qualities, the life path, so we can understand what is it that we're here to do, what is holding us down, so we can release it, nurture, and really be able to increase our vibration in order for us to go into the Akashic field and other planes of existence. So this is almost like responsibility become the key right now. Are you taking responsibility for what's your life like? Are you taking responsibility for your happiness? That is a huge question. And I don't think we all know the answers to that, because the moment you think, I will be happy if, that if makes it that is out of your control. And when you take responsibility for everything, including your own happiness, everything changes, because you now know that the answers are within you, that you have the answers in your hand, in your heart. What are you going to do with those answers is the question. So this becomes very big, because only when we can transcend that ego, that experience of no understanding that we are the responsible ones for ourselves, and that we have the control of everything that happens to us. And that takes many years. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to take a month. It's not going to take 2 months. It could be a year or longer. And that's why the program is a 12-month program, because for some of you, this might take half a year. It might take longer. It might take 3 months. And you might be so advanced that it might only take a month. Or you might already be done with that lesson and you can already tap into the Akashic field. You can already tap into other dimensions consciously. Know when the spirit decides to do it, but you doing it consciously is a very different thing that when a spirit comes to channel through you and you have no idea what's going on or how to duplicate the experience. Very different things. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you being conscious, that you sit down and you say, today I want to channel El Frera. Today I want to connect with Goddess Athena. Today I want to connect with my ancestors. And that you actually accomplish the goal. It's two very different things than you walking down the road and feeling something, and next thing you know, you're down on the floor and you don't know how you got on the floor because you lost consciousness. Two very different things. So responsibility becomes the key to unlock your abilities. So how do we really take responsibility? Is by understanding that some people sign up, they have a soul contract and they sign up for lessons. Sometimes the lesson, they decide, you know what, if by so and so time, if I haven't learned this lesson, my brother is going to become this, and the brother sign up to become the bad guy. So he can help the sister wake up by teaching a bad lesson, something that we consider to be bad, negative. But the brother just signed up, had a contract that if by age 18 the sister didn't do so and so, he will become the controlling one because she's out of hand and she wants to go out and party all the time. And therefore the brother is going to say, you know what, no more going out, you shouldn't be doing this, and he becomes the bad guy. You see what I'm saying? Like, people sign up for different experiences, and sometimes because they have been working on this for many lives, they say, you know what, but this time I'm going to have help from my brother. You're going to go as my brother, and you're now going to be, by the age 18, if I don't do this, automatically you're going to know you're going to be this controlling, so I can start getting a warning that, hey, I need to get back in line because I'm losing control again. And I have done this so long that if I don't do it this time, I'm going to have to come back and repeat it. So you see how it becomes, everybody becomes almost like a player in this movie, a cast member, and they're playing their role and you're playing yours. And if you achieve it, great. If you don't, not so great, because you have to come back and do it. And the people that are with you, they might have to come back and support you yet again. That's why we tend to have a lot of different lifetimes with specific people, because they become they are part of our cosmic soul family. So everybody has a role. If we understand the lessons within the roles, it's easy for us to cut contracts if it's no longer working out. Let's say you have an abusive boyfriend or husband or wife, narcissist, they don't want to change. Everything is just going downhill. And you sign up to help them. But at one point, you also know that if by age so-and-so, they don't do what they're supposed to do, that you have the freedom to move on. By 10 years later, you're still in this relationship because for whatever reason, you felt like you can still hold on to this. But the contract was that you were only going to put up for it and help the person for X amount of time. And 10 years later, you're still with this person. That means that unfortunately, you are now creating karma for you because you didn't know when it was time to go. Most of the time, people get a warning Something happens. It could be an accident. It could be a dream. It could be an out-of-body experience. It could be a vision. It could be a very traumatic incident where the person just became so dangerous that they almost kill you or hurt you physically or hurt you so emotionally that they broke you down. And that was the warning and you didn't pay attention to. So years later, you're still with this person and you don't understand why life is so terrible. They were supposed to teach you a lesson of you breaking free from someone that has these qualities, but you wanted to stay and help or didn't know how to break free, were afraid how to break free. So there's so many lessons within that example that I just gave you. You really have to analyze it from different perspectives. What are you teaching your family, your kids, your husband, yourself, the neighbors, whoever? What are you when you go into the life review and you pass your transition? What are you going to say you wish you did differently? That's where the lesson is. When you're dead and you see yourself transitioning and you're like, wow, I should have done so and so. That's where the lesson is. So I want us to keep that in mind because these lessons are very important. As you know, the karmic lesson is one of the main lessons. There are a lot of lessons within each lesson, but then we also have the different lessons like the destiny number. We also have the supporting qualities. The supporting qualities could be shadow aspect or they could be in the positive aspect, but they are also part of your lessons. Those might be lessons that you have to help others with, your children, your husband, your mother, your sister, your brother, your friends, your best friend, or the person that was your enemy, that you consider your enemy, but you actually sign up to be the enemy so you can teach each other lessons. So everybody becomes a lesson. When we see everyone as a lesson, we can take responsibility for what they're coming to teach us with a lot of love and compassion. And I know that's hard at the beginning, but when you start training your mind this way, you're going to start taking responsibility for what you're supposed to do in this life. What are you supposed to be doing here and how you're going to get there? And then once you get there, once you understand how you're going to help others do it, because you're here because you want to become a healer. You want to heal yourself. You want to heal your families, potentially your friends, potentially clients. So once we understand this, we can help others understand too. And can you imagine a place where everybody understood and took responsibility for themselves? How beautiful it will be? It will be magical. I do have to say that the lessons don't necessarily have to be bad. There are people that come into our lives to remind us the beauty of life. I have some friends that when I'm around them, I become a different person. I am more joyful and I look at them in awe, like what makes them so happy. I don't understand, but when I'm around them, I see their happiness and it's contagious. Sometimes I wish I could be like them, but I am more on a serious, weird type of person. So I'm not always like that. I am not always bubbly. But when I come around my friends that are bubbly, they recharge me and they give me what I'm missing at that moment. They always seem to come when I need them the most. I have some friends that come when I need to be more wiser. And I have to go to them and say, hey, listen, I cannot figure this out. What is going on? And they help me see things from a different perspective. So these friends have signed up to remind me things that I normally don't have. I had a friend that she was a tree hugger. And for a long time, I didn't understand. Why are you hugging the trees? And then I understood. And I was like, wow, she was like the first person that introduced me to hugging trees. I remember I was like 9 years old when I first hugged a tree and I felt so alive. So you see, there are people that come in our lives to teach us good things, fun things, to teach us how to be vibrant, how to be laid back if you're not laid back like me. I tend to be more on the serious side. So when I have friends that are more laid back and they're more bubbly, I love their energy because I think they're weird. And I love being around them. And then I also have friends that are 20, 30 years older than me. I do tend to have a lot of friends that are older than me because I am an old soul. So I appreciate the older age and their wisdom. So I love being around them and asking them things that they wish they had done when they were younger. And I see how they talk about it, things that they would have done differently. And I love having those type of conversations. They always teach me something. So we all have friends, parents, brother, sister. They have different qualities that teach us something that we need. Could be positive or could be bad. Negative, I'm not going to say bad, because when it's negative, you have the opportunity to bring it to the light. So once we realize that we are responsible for everything that we create, we understand that we are our own gods. We are gods and goddesses. And we really are, because we create everything around us. Everything. Now that we understand that, I want to talk about again the different planes. The different plane of existence is important when we go through the Akasha, because not only when we can understand that there is no time and space when you go through the Akasha field, you can see everything. You can see everything. But also, it's important to understand that the lower planes that have it's almost like some of the lower planes that have a lower vibration to them, you have to be able to raise your vibration higher so you don't get trapped in those vibrations and have challenging times in the Akasha field. Because if you do, what's going to happen is that you're going to have a hard time and you're going to get afraid. We don't want you to get afraid. There is no need to get afraid. That's why you ask for protection. So when you're going through the Akasha field and you have increased your vibration, you overpass several planes so you can get to the mental higher vibrations of the mental plane. When you go through the mental plane on a higher vibration, you can receive information that is very conscious information that sometimes, if you're not able to process immediately, it's almost like getting a download. You get the download, and then later when you're ready, you activate the download by integrating accordingly. So it becomes almost like you can tap into any of your God-given ability by going through the field with a higher vibration. And if you're not even ready to understand it later, you will, because once you start integrating, things will start making a lot of sense. So it becomes a master, it's almost like a playground, like a master playground, where depending on your abilities that we will start working with, you will go to the Akashic field to pick up more information about how to enhance and activate and use your gifts. It becomes a playground. So the quantum field, in essence, is right above the mental plane, as we discussed in the lecture that we did with the drawings of the different planes. When you go through this field, you tap into higher information that comes directly from source, and it is information that transcends the illusion, the human illusion. So you can go anywhere in the cosmos, receive any type of information, receive any type, and you will use it. We will put a plan together to go to the Akashic field to start working and activating the gifts. That's why it's important that you learn how to tap into the Akashic field, because this is going to be similar to when you do the quantum healing. We're doing the same thing. The quantum field is the field where the source, the creator, and very nomadic energy beings are in this formless energy source where anything is possible, and you can go back in time eons of millions of years ago, or you can go into alternative realities, parallel dimensions, universes, different planes, and you can receive anything that you need, especially when you do it with intention. It's very important. For when you go to the Akashic Records, which is on the quantum field, you transcend time and space. You can go through past lives, multiple past lives in one meditation to release those lives, to understand, to integrate even. And the lessons that you learn here become very powerful. So the quantum field is what we tap into when we do quantum healing. The quantum field is also what we tap into when we go through the Akashic Records. So we go through the Akashic Records to be able to tap into the quantum field. So when you go into the Akashic Records, you're in essence in the quantum field. You are in the quantum field looking at the same thing that we will do in the quantum sessions, with the session that I'm going to be guiding you so I can ask you questions that will help you later. When you go through the Akashic Records by yourself, you have to work harder to remember when you come back, because nobody was there asking you questions. So that's why the guide become important when we do quantum healing, because those questions are very powerful for you to integrate information much faster. But along with the quantum sessions, you will be doing on your own the Akashic Records meditation. And this meditation are going to go hand in hand with the quantum sessions, so you can activate and really tap into pure source energy. So by the end of the 12-month program, you can be and feel a different person. You will be, and you are a healer, and you're going to awaken everything that is inside of you. It's a beautiful journey. I can see it and feel it, and I'm happy, excited for all of us, including myself, because I am going on this journey with you, and I am learning so much. And it's really blowing my mind, because some of this information I am not creative enough to make it up. So it's really taking me to the next level as well. So I am being guided, and I was going to skip this because I thought I already mentioned this in a previous lesson. But I am being guided to remind you that the Taurus is a film. It is something that is in everything that is alive, that has energy, including the cosmos, including ourselves. But there is also a Taurus that goes right in hand with the heart space. I think there was some information that I remember about, I don't know if it was Greg Graydon. I don't know if that's his name. I think he had a discussion once about the Heart Math Institute, and how they have discovered that the heart is one of the strongest muscles that we have. Is not actually the brain. We think everything comes from the brain, but what they discover is that the heart has its own energy torus field, and that's where the ones that are sensitive, the medians, empath, we understand that energy field in a way that other people might not be able to, because we have a heightened sense of sensitiveness that helps us understand and even see the energy. And why this is important is because when you go and you try to raise your vibration, you really have to come from the heart space. When you want to tap into higher information and higher different dimensions and planes, you have to be lighter. And to be lighter, you have to work with the heart space. Because if you have a lot of things that are holding you down, a lot of traumas that you haven't processed, a lot of things that you haven't healed, then it's very hard for you to travel to the different dimensions and spaces and universes. So it will be harder for you to go through the Akashic field without putting in some work first. And it will be harder to understand. Even if you see, it will be harder for you to understand what you're seeing unless you have already worked with your mind, with your heart space, to release a lot of that junk that might be sitting there. And it's important to do this because when you're expanding your awareness, you understand that you have created everything. And therefore, it's hard to understand how someone will have chosen so many difficult lessons. I know I went through my lessons, and at one point, I didn't understand anything because it was very hard. And when I was able to start working on releasing a lot of the traumas, is when everything activated to the next level. It was almost like I had a pre-awakening, then I went to another awakening, and then when I really started working on releasing trauma, releasing hurt, releasing emotions that don't serve me anymore, it wasn't until then that I really started getting information that was beyond my understanding, that I was on a hunt because I wanted to know everything. So it's important for us to know that sometimes the level of consciousness does affect, it will always affect how we interpret the information that we receive, because sometimes we receive information that is above our understanding, because there is more stuff that we have to go through in order to go to the next stage of understanding the new information that we don't understand yet. So sometimes there will be information that you will receive that you will not put it into practice, or you will not understand until years or months later. And that is beautiful, because that means it's almost like acknowledgement. You are walking the path, and it's just going to take time, but you're on the right path. Sometimes, if you're receiving a lot of information that is overwhelming you, you can you have to be very intentional, because otherwise you can get inflated with information that might, instead of doing you good, might put you behind, because you will try to divert your energy in so many different ways that it will not be for your highest good to do so. So in order for you to go through the different visions, clairaudience experiences, you want to be very intentional, so your spirit guides know what to send you, when to send it to you. Now, I just want to give you a quick exercise. If you are dealing with a lot of traumas, a lot of emotions, and you want to start tapping into the Akashic field, there is a simple way to do this so you can start the healing process. So let's go into the Akashic field to heal traumas, emotions, anything that you feel needs to go. So simply, you close your eyes, you start connecting with light source energy coming from above, coming through the crown chakra, going in through your body, out through your feet, and you connect with Gaia, you connect with the stars, the moons, the sun, and you say to yourself, I am letting go of all the cares of the day. I am letting go of all the challenges of the day, of all the preoccupations of the day. Anything that is bothering you, allow it to be released. So I allow for all the cares of the day to be released at this moment now. And when you do this, you're telling your mind and your body, it's time for you to be an empty vessel so you can travel. So by letting the cares of the day, you're letting your mind be clear of all the preoccupations. So And then allow full relaxation into your body. So I am letting go of all troubles, challenges, or whatever is preoccupying you. I am letting go of all the cares of the day. And I am inviting full relaxation through your body. So you're inviting full relaxation to flow through your body. You close your eyes and you breathe in and out. And try to do that for 7 to 10 breaths. And you will feel lighter because you're training your mind to listen and your body to listen. And when you do this, then you're able to lift up your vibration because relaxation implies that you're at peace. So when you're at peace, you are lighter. So you can say, or you can see with your mind's eye, a beautiful place, a place where you feel peaceful. It might be the river. I love the river, so let's use the river. I am letting go of all the cares of the day. I invite full relaxation to flow through my body. And now in my mind's eye, I'm going to picture myself being at a river. And I'm putting my toes in the water while I breathe the fresh air in and out 7 to 10 times. And now I feel lighter. And now you can say, I am calling for Archangel Michael or anyone that you want to protect you at this moment. And I'm calling for Ascended Master, Buddha, Jesus, or whoever. And I would like access to the Akashic field so I can go, access to the Akashic Records, so I can go and pull X, Y, and Z information. It might be a past life. I would like to go through the Akashic Records to see a past life where I was happy, where I was joyous. I want to bring those energy into my life now. And you're going to be able to see pictures and images or hear or film and then stay in that energy. And when you go to the Akashic Records, make sure that you meet your Akashic guide and ask for permission to go through the past life where that life can show you that you have been a joyous, beautiful energy person before. And pay attention to the pictures that you see. It may be a moment in the past when you were a child, or another past life, or a parallel life. And pay attention. Just do this quick exercise. It might take you 10 minutes to do this. It might take you 30 minutes, depending on how fast you want to move through the meditation. When you do this, you're training your mind to know that when you say, I am letting go of all the cares of the day, flow away, you're training your mind and your body to know that it is okay to relax. And then you ask for full relaxation so you can invite the feeling of feeling relaxed so you can travel lighter. And then you picture a beautiful place so you can feel how it feels before you travel through the Akashic Records. So it's a process, but it's a very simple process. And it can work wonders if you train your body to follow your command. It's going to work beautiful because anytime that you channel, you also have to do the same. You have to allow for you to become the vessel. So you're only tapping into information and you can only receive a lot of information when you're allowing yourself to be a vehicle. So you have to be in a flow state in order for you to receive information from higher dimensions, higher realities, parallel realities. It's important for me to remind you that when you are leaving the records, you always want to imagine that you have closed the door, you have given thanks to your guide for coming through, for the angel that protected you or the spirit guide and any ascended master. Give them thanks and envision that the door has been closed and you say, I am now closing the records or the records are now closed. You want to make sure that the records are closed because you don't want to leave anything open. But when you're in the records, let's say you want to go in the records to heal something. So you can go into the records to ask for healing and understanding. Let's say that you're afraid of spiders and you want to understand why. So you will go to the records to ask for you to be shown why, where is this fear coming from? What is the pattern? What is the lesson? Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention where the phobia originated from. What can you learn from this phobia? What was the lesson of the phobia? And what is there any healing that can be done? Can you release it? Is it something that you can release while you're in the record now? You might get a yes or no. And if you get a yes, obviously you'll continue with the process. If you get a no, you will ask why. Why not? You might receive an answer that you're not ready yet, or that you have to come back in 2 months or 3 months for this specific challenge, or 2 weeks, or 2 days. But you will get answers. The more you go into the Akashic field, the more you're going to be able to receive powerful healing. And you can also awaken your abilities. Let's say you're a channeler, or that you're an empath and you want to go into the field, into the records to understand how to manage this gift so you can release energy faster. Then you're going to the Akashic Records and you ask, how? Who can I learn from? Or what can I do to be able to release energy faster in order for me to be a better empath? And then see where they take you. What do they show you? What symbols or pictures? Or do they take you to a past life? Do they take you to a parallel reality? What is the lesson in there? So you always want to look for the lessons, the how you feel, where is this coming from? Anything else that might be able to help you, maybe triggers that they can show you, and how to release the energy more powerfully, more easily, more beautifully, with more compassion, or whatever it is that you want. So in the records, we can do beautiful things. That's why quantum healing works, because when we're in the Akashic field, in the quantum field, we tap into the quantum where source is, and source, obviously God, has the solutions to everything. So when you go into the Akashic field, you're doing the same thing as tapping into the quantum field, and this is where every answer is. All the answers are here. This is a living consciousness, and every time we take an action, it's recorded in the records. Every time anyone takes an action, is recorded in the records. Anytime something major happens or something small happens, it's also recorded in the records. So it's a living consciousness, and we can tap into this consciousness to understand beautiful information that can help us become one with who we're supposed to be. It's a beautiful energy, and you will tell the difference. Once you get used to this energy, you will know when you're tapping into the field, even when you're walking and doing a walking meditation, because you feel different. You can feel lighter, and you know that you have access to everything. Something inside of you lets you know, I can tap into any answers that I want. I can ask anything and get the answers. That's when you tap into the Akashic field.